Welcome back. It's 8:43. A growing memorial at Pier 36 in Manhattan, where the Mexican ship involved in Saturday's deadly accident remains docked. A candlelit vigil was held last night for the victims who lost their lives and the 22 crew members who remain hospitalized.
So as the investigation now ramps up into the tragedy, New York City preparing to welcome nearly 12 ships for Fleet Week, which gets underway on Wednesday. Joining us this morning to discuss the latest on the crash and the response is Deputy Mayor for Public Safety Kaz Daughtry and FDNY Chief Michael Myers. So great to have both of you here this morning. Yes, so let me begin with where we're kind of at, right? The Coast Guard, the NTSB, they're going to be the ones who lead the investigation. But Deputy Mayor, what can you tell us about what exactly happened here, right? Because there is some preliminary investigations that took place. People are looking at this saying, how is this possible?
No, good question, Dan. Thank you. And this is just preliminary. This is still on the investigation by the Mexican Navy, the NTSB, United States Coast Guard. But initial reports was that we received that the Mexican trading vessel was trying to come into port and went under the Brooklyn Bridge. That's completely not true. What happened was the ship lost propulsion, and people associate the video with the ship trying to go under the actual bridge, but that's not the case. They were actually going backwards. And the tugboat, which we later found out, was trying to help navigate the vessel away from trying to go under the Brooklyn Bridge, because they knew that that they couldn't clear it. So complete tragedy, and on behalf of the 8.4 million New Yorkers, our deepest sympathy go out to the soldiers.
And people are just dumbfounded, though. Like, how could this have happened, though? Why were they so close? Should they have been there? Were they in the right place? It just seems so confusing. Like, it seemed like there could have been so much more time.
Yep, and remember, Hazel, this is still under investigation.
Yeah.
This is just preliminary. You know, from from the reports that we are receiving from the team on the ground out there. But this is all going to come out in the investigation.
Chief, your crews were there moments after this happened, right? So can you talk to us about what exactly you experienced, right? Because there were so many reports that quickly came out on social media. We saw the videos of those soldiers who were kind of on the mast. Some of them were hanging off. What you experienced upon arrival, and then I'll ask a question about the tugboats. Let me ask you first what you saw when you arrived.
Sure. So when we first got there, our crews first got in there, gave the report of a boat into the bridge. Obviously, after what happened in Maryland, we're highly concerned about that. So there's a lot of different areas that you have to start to investigate and look at.
So you shut down the bridge traffic?
So we did not shut down the bridge traffic at that point because there was the bridge was not compromised at that point. So what we're more worried about is, again, like, how are we going to get the people off of the boat? How are we going to get units out to the boat? You know, we have Marine units, but they aren't equipped with lots of manpower. So we have to add manpower to those boats to get people out there to start to assist. So in this case, it makes it extremely even more difficult because we didn't know if people were in the water, which you need different PPE for, whether you need high angle equipment to get people off of those masts because those masts were broken. How would we get a high point to get them down from there if we needed to? So a lot of different things. And then we also have to get people down there to assist the ship's doctors with taking care of the wounded.
How did you know that the bridge wasn't damaged?
At that point, because it was a mast going into it, so we did a quick preliminary size up. At that point, the Brooklyn Bridge has been around for, I think, about 130 years plus. So at that point, that's a pretty solid and substantial bridge or structure. So again, at that point, we were assuming that it was okay, and we would have stopped traffic had we thought at that point that we needed to.
Also, we utilized technology, Dan. You know, I love the drones. Drones went up there quickly, was able to send a feed to the buildings department where they can look at the structural integrity and look for any type of anomalies that they have seen. Which the travelers portion under the bridge is basically an area where they store construction equipment was damaged, and I've seen some of the photos. Which I'm not an engineer, but they have, and the engineers are actually on that bridge today at 10 o'clock doing another inspection. So there's been inspection after inspection after inspection since this accident.
How were you able to rescue the sailors that were on that ship? And if you can also tell us the latest on the conditions of those who did survive.
Sure. So how we got folks out to the ship. So we had fire units on scene get out to the ship. We brought rescue paramedics out there as well from our EMS faction who went out there. So we're able to get folks packaged onto Stokes baskets, immobilize them to get them out to start life-saving care, take them on the fire boats. We decided at this point to set up a casualty collection point on Pier 16 in Manhattan. That way, because we didn't know how many casualties we were going to have or how many patients we were going to have, so we wanted to have a large enough area. If we use the Brooklyn Bridge side, that's like a choke point.
Yeah.
You can't get ambulances in and out of there on Bridge Street, so we decided to use Manhattan, shut down South Street, worked in conjunction with the mayor's office, the NYPD, to get all of that area closed, and then get all of the patients to that area, and then transported there by boat. The most critical being first.
Real quick, because we're up against the clock. Did the tugboat, did it leave too early for a boat of this size? Because it just pulled out of the port. Did the tugboat move away from the other ship too quickly?
Again, I would say at this point it's way too early in the investigation for us to know exactly how that happens, and the maritime experts, along with the NTSB, will figure that out and probably come up with recommendations.
And we're not here to Monday morning quarterback. This is a unified collaboration between the Mexican authorities, the Coast Guard, and the NTSB. So let's wait for their report.
What was the boat doing here? What was it doing in New York?
Part of Fleet Week?
No, so they were here for like a post celebration for July 4th, but their training. They were going from port to port to port throughout the actual country. They were on the way to Iceland afterwards.
Yeah. Okay, and just, I know we're running out of time. We have run out of time. Just real quickly, the conditions of those that have survived, are they going to make a full recovery as far as you know?
There was two that was admitted 2 days ago to Bellevue. They're expected to make a full recovery. Everybody else on the ship is expected to make a full recovery.
All right. Deputy Mayor Kaz Daughtry, FDNY Chief Michael Myers, great to have both of you here this morning to talk about this. Keep us posted on the investigation. I know there's going to be an update with the NTSB later on today, so we'll be following that. In the meantime, it is 8:50.